엉덩이 빡빡빡 남자들은 탐탐탐 내 입술 냠냠냠 어디 가도 당당당 등장은 짜짜짜 Hello bitches.
Introduction. According to Neil Sultan on the rise of esports, a new audience model and a new medium 2017, electronic sports or esports for short are competitive online video game events. It's a platform where people can create groups to represent their nations and play mobile games that have been chosen for the tournament against other nations. Tencent's Arena of Valor, for example, was used for the 2023 Asian Games. According to CNN, another way to define esports is as the organized, competitive video game industry. In one game, players from various teams and leagues battle against each other. Playable games include Madden NFL, Call of Duty, Overwatch, Fortnite, League of Legends, and Counter-Strike. Millions of followers worldwide who attend live events or watch on TV and the internet follow and watch these athletes. Fans can watch their favorite players compete in real time on streaming platforms like Twitch, where well-known players often acquire following. According to Gen et al. 2023, players in esports are not eligible for full retirement benefits, and Malaysia's esport viewership growth is less rapid than other Southeast Asian countries. In this instance, Hannah Yeoh of the Ministry of Youth and Sports is the one being held responsible for esports. The problems surrounding esports will affect the entire nation if the Ministry of Youth and Sports does not act right way. Additionally, our nation will lose a prospective representative. There will be no advancement in our sports industry as a result.
Planning is setting goals and strategy, defining the action necessary to achieve. According to physical education, to be effective plan should be specific, logical, flexible, and complete in all aspects. The plan must understand all other management functions, such as organizing, staffing, directing, and controlling, to achieve the goals that have been set. Setting goals and developing plans help the organization to move in a focused direction. In sport planning plays an important role to make the event run smoothly and effectively. Effective planning must clearly define the goals and objectives in the event. It should also describe the procedure or method to achieve the target in simple and understandable language. Type of planning has three types. The first one is a strategic planning, is a long-term planning that focuses on organizational objective, evaluate resources, and set the best strategy to achieve goals. This plan usually involves a time period of 3 to 5 years or more. Besides, it's a tactical planning, mid-term plan that describes the broader strategy that has been outlined in the strategic plan of action and specific plan for all departments. This plan usually shorter term, 1 to 3 years, and more detailed. Lastly, operational planning is a short-term planning focused on daily operation and activities, setting specific tasks, allocating resources, and planning teams in achieving immediate goals. Plan period cover of weeks or monthly. Important in esport issue management planning include risk management. It is important for esport to identify potential risks and develop contingency plans. This includes cybersecurity threat, network connectivity, failures, player injuries, health and emergency, and other unforeseen disruption. Planning should be implemented to reduce risks and ensure only minimal impact on the tournaments or event. Example, cyber attack in esport industry is vulnerable to cybercrime and online risks. The security of player data is a major risk, while hacking can affect both the integrity of the game. Organizers should review their cybersecurity controls and improve their cybersecurity resilience to mitigate these risks. Esport management involves many parties who are responsible for identifying, evaluating activities, and mitigating risks in the esport industry. The main party involved is the Ministry of Youth and Sport in the issue of various key aspects that need to be focused on and regulate the esport industry. The following are some of the important roles of regulation and governance in creating a regulatory framework and esport guidelines that are under the jurisdiction of the ministry. This includes fair game rules and ethical standards to maintain integrity in the sport. Marketing and promotion is aspect of short-term planning in esport to create a plan that promotes esport to all people, all of age, and can interact with fans through social media. In addition, focus on the health, physical, and mental well-being of the players to prevent any danger from happening in their life. Several aspects of long-term planning in sport, including education and programs, are the backbone from developing educational programs such as making partnership with educational institutions and initiatives to encourage the development of young talent in sport. The concept of SMART is important in sport planning. Objectives in sport planning can include competitive success such as winning a particular tournament, reaching a high position in an Asian leg, or qualifying for a high event such as a major international. Additionally, community involvement in developing a loyal fan base, hosting fan events, and fostering a positive gaming community. Organizing. Organizing is the way that work is arranged and distributed among members of an organization so the goals of said organization can be achieved effectively and efficiently. It is also the process of assuring that there are physical and human resources in order to carry out the plans and realize an organization's goals. Organizing involves delegating and assigning tasks, specifically dividing work among members, clarifying authority between individual and group, and combining a group of activities into subdivisions or departments according to logic. It is important to distribute workload to all members of the organization in order to move towards achieving the goals. Organizing also enables in improving the skills of organization members as they carry out activities that are specialized. It ensures there are no waste of resources in the organization and all of it is used efficiently. In line with that, it can avoid the duplication of work, ultimately greatly minimizing the cost as there is no waste of resources. Lastly, it encourages cooperation among members of the organization because everyone has their own roles and responsibilities in achieving the organizational goals. What are the organizing strategy done by Ministry of Youth and Sports? The Ministry of Youth and Sports has formulated a strategy for organizing the topic of esports in Malaysia. Among them are to standardize guidelines for esports athlete contracts. Athletes are often not aware of their own rights, which leaves them susceptible to abuse like being used for free marketing or receiving one-sided contracts. Therefore, the Esports Malaysia Association (ESM) would provide aid in matters such as preparing a preliminary version of player contracts between their team or organization and any other relevant matters. Other than that, national guidelines are also standardized. ESM is responsible for enacting guidelines and ensuring that underage athletes receive proper protection for their rights. In order to protect under 18 esports athletes, ESM's guidelines are to create a legal obligation for athletes to complete their secondary school education, enforce a minimum passing grade in school subjects, prepare a full index to keep track of athletes under the age of 18, and run an esports workshop to educate the young athletes. ESM established a transition program that assists veteran athletes by creating a database for them, organizing workshops, coming together with esports academies to allow veteran athletes in nurturing young talents, and endorsing and supporting veterans in widening their paths into other jobs related to esports. ESM is also responsible for supporting participation in international tournaments. They are to educate proper and necessary procedures to the athletes, work together with the government for an official start for athletes and teams, communicate and reason with parents, and support as well as encourage the players.
Decision-making is a process by detecting and evaluating a problem and has a solution that is usually done by a manager or leader. Problems occur due to aspects of performance that are less than desired. Among the important elements is making choices, gathering relevant information, identifying objective, and evaluating decision. The Ministry of Youth and Sports needs to solve the problem to achieve the goal. Hence, sport can bring many benefits to our economy. Decision-making can be divided into two categories, non-program decision and program decision. In the program decision, the choices are predetermined and based on responses that have been made in the past. Next, non-program decision represent the second category of decision-making. The choices made when predetermined circumstances cannot be applied, such as when they are specific or unstructured. Among the importance of decision-making in organization is encouraging youth participation. For example, the Ministry of Youth and Sports give freedom or encourages to those who is interested in participating in e-sport. Next, community building. It can be aimed toward developing a platform for local players through the organization of tournaments and international competitions. They have the chance to increase mutual trust and improve society as a result of this community building. Moreover, strategic planning contributes to the improvement of esports. Making decisions can accelerate the development of esports in Malaysia. Since esports boosts the Malaysian economy, the Ministry of Youth and Sports can devise a plan to keep esports growing as a sport. However, the Ministry of Youth and Sports needs a strategy to achieve objectives and goals. Among the strategies that can be done is infrastructure enhancement, where the Ministry of Youth and Sports can upgrade players' facilities such as providing personal computers or PCs and providing game chairs. The effect is that players will feel more comfortable and free from unwanted problems. Next, collaboration between other countries. This strategy will further develop the country's economy and strengthen friendship between other countries. Last, The Ministry of Youth and Sports needs to understand the current situation or issue of esport in Malaysia by doing research and analysis to find out more about esport.
Next, controlling. Control is the main function of goal-oriented management in an organization. It is a procedure to make sure that actions are carried out in accordance with the plans, and if not, to take corrective action by comparing actual performance with the company's stated standards. Controlling has three types. The first type is pre-control. With the use of this control system, manager may detect possible issues and resolve them. Next, the second control type is concurrent control. Concurrent control refers to handling issues as they come up. There are activities connected to this control system. Lastly, feedback control. Feedback control is a control technique which handles issues after they arise. This method of control is reactive. Another name for it is post-control system. Then, the controlling strategies. The first one is to develop athletes for esport excellence through specialized training programs, skill enhancement initiatives, and strategic collaborations. The ministry focuses on developing athletes for esport excellence. It aspires to build a competitive esport ecosystem by offering resources, coaching, and chance for aspiring players, supporting growth, and ultimately raising the national and maybe international standard of esport performance. Next, toward responsible gaming and esport ethics. It involves the implementation of policies to promote fair play, player welfare, and community standards. This include age restriction, awareness campaign about responsible gaming, and guidelines for ethical behavior in sport competitions. The goal is to foster a healthy gaming environment while addressing potential issues such as addiction, cheating, and toxic behavior. Lastly, better access to esport infrastructure. Fostering a sporting environment including investing in cutting-edge gaming facilities, boosting esport education, and forming partnership to improve connection and technology, ultimately enhancing the country's esport potential.
Conclusion. To sum up, there are a few ways that the government can consider to deal with issues on esport, and one of them is by having a better strategic plan for esport. When the government has a better planning for esports, it will ensure the athletes and citizens that the government have a clear objective on esport. In addition, better planning will help the athletes to improve their skill just like any other professional player from any other country. Moreover, Malaysia's hope to be the hub for esport in Southeast Asia can be achieved. On top of that, the government can also opt for better decision-making from the Ministry of Youth and Sport. Better decision-making is a great way to encourage the younger generation into taking part in esport. This can be done through the establishment of athletes' careers. Once the government manages to establish the athlete's career, it will boost the confidence from the younger generation into choosing esport athletes as their career. Thus, it will increase the government to find a great player that can represent our country. SWOT analysis esport. All in all, there are some strengths regarding esport. One of them is the public has become more aware regarding the benefits of esports to the economy of Malaysia. Both public and private sectors have shown more interest to invest in esport due to the benefits that were mentioned before. However, there are a few noticeable weaknesses on esport, such as since esport is a new sport that was recognized by the society, esport has some weaknesses when it comes to leadership. This is the result of the improper guidance that was led by the fact that it is largely run by parties without proper guidance. Nowadays, there are many opportunities for esports athletes to show their skills such as SEA Games and Asian Games esports. It will be title sports for the first time at the regional games. This proves the acceptance of society towards esports. Nevertheless, there are some issues concerning the society, such as the fact that some people consider esport as a non-acceptance sport, as a traditional because still not considered as a true sport in terms of physicality. It has become a never-ending debate up until today. That's all from us. Thank you.